if you attend this type of conference, you attend something that House of Beautiful Business presents, you will learn something new.
So I have here with me BEOWULF, who is a portrait photographer.
Yes.
Can you please describe how you do your work and how you really get inspired when doing your work?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. My work is reactive in that I do my best to do my homework to learn who the person is who I'm about to photograph, what the person has to say and is about to say. Most of my work is in the literary community, meaning that I'm reading a book to do my homework before I have my portrait session with that subject. And reading, or if I should photograph a musician, listening, if I should photograph an actor, seeing, those things, of course, that little preparatory effort helps me get a sense of the person's voice, what it is that he, she, they should soon say to the world, because much of the time what I'm seeing is not yet private, not yet open to the community at large. And like everything in life, if you, as Ben Franklin had once famously said, luck favors the prepared. If you prepare, then of course you'll have a much more successful experience with that person when that stranger, soon to not become a stranger, walks into the room to work with me. So I read, I listen, I watch. And then I have a sense of what to say when the person comes in, and the conversation grows from there.
Well, actually, we are coming from a different world, from a corporate world, but I think we also kind of do similar things while doing our work. We really read, listen, and watch what's
Yes.
the requirements from them, and then really try to turn it into say, an outcome.
Yes.
I know we have been having very intense 3 days for the past 3 days in the House of Beautiful Business gathering. And how was it for you? What's your overall impression about this event, and what's really unique about it, in your opinion?
I would say many things. Firstly, it's exhilarating. It's an exhilarating thing to be specifically at this particular House of Beautiful Business gathering, in that we've, of course, now gone through better than a year of half of not being allowed to be around each other unless we've had certain safety precautions and measures taken. And so given that, to not be able to gather all this time, as we're meant to be, we're social animals. We're not meant to live in isolation. We can if we need to, if we must. But we're at a point now in world history where we needn't. We can get vaccinated, we can get out in the world and see each other. And we've just done that. And the world came together. I spoke several languages over these days, some well, some badly, but hearing and listening to the voices of and seeing people from around the world is such a beautiful, invigorating, energizing thing, because we've been closed off from the world, from each other all this time. So to some end, we as human beings, no matter what our profession, our discipline, or what it is that we have to offer to this weekend we've just enjoyed together, we needed this. It was nostalgia come back to life, because we were really there, but of course what we just experienced is something that we had the opportunity to experience beforehand. So that's a major difference, having this perspective of how fragile life is and how precious life is, because we just had to go through, and for many of us we're still going through a very, very challenging phase of life that needn't be that way if we can entrust our medical professionals and scientists to do the things they can do and have done and will continue to do to help us. So I'm very grateful to those who made it possible for us to gather. It was such an exciting time.
Right, we have really seen very different perspectives. Really, we discussed about the ethical AI, we discussed about sustainability, we discussed about really being a human in itself. So how do you think this will then all impact your work after you really, let's say, go to your work after this really intense weekend?
I'm thinking about specifically yesterday morning, where the session spoke to the idea of wanting, and that was translated into further thoughts over the course of the day of longing. And I think longing is a term that also speaks to the time we are now through which we're now living. And it was said in one of the sessions then yesterday morning that we live in, I suppose, predominantly in a Western society, if not throughout a number of governments. I can't speak to all world cultures and leaderships, that men are encouraged as they grow up to want, and women are encouraged as they grow up to be wanted. And as obvious a thing as it is, it's quite tragic to think that if that's the construct of our societies across our world, that's completely wholly unfair. Because we all have innate wants, we all have innate desires, and we should be able to act on those. And one great thing that came out of that discussion was the idea of the value of just listening. There was more than one speaker who spoke to the power of silence and just letting yourself being open and receptive to the other person or the other parties. Because to want means that you voice what it is that drives you. This is the dream I have. And it can be a very nervous thing to share your dreams. Esther yesterday had asked us to face each other and to speak to contradictions within ourselves. But I found it fascinating that as we shared our conversations after that experience, so many of our contradictions spoke to our dreams. And many people seem to be shy to voice their dreams. And what's wonderful about this weekend is people put their dreams out there. And this is the degree to which I, that speaker, am living that dream. But the dream goes on, and here's what I still wish to achieve. And I wish for those of you in the room with me to receive what it is I'm offering to the world, and together let's help further achieve this greater dream for the better health of the world, for the better advancement of societies, all kinds of great, great things we can do when we actually come together.
Exactly. The transformation is collaborative, right?
Yes.
Starts with the personal, with organizations, and then at the end, societal.
Yes.
And if you were to describe this whole event with one word, what would it be?
Transformative.
Transformative.
As an adjective, as a noun, transformation. Because you go in, and we also spoke to the idea of the word should, and that imposes constrictions on someone, but ideally, I'll say, this is an occasion where one should be receptive to all that comes one's way. Because if you attend this type of conference, you attend something that House of Beautiful Presence presents, you will learn something new. And something you don't anticipate will happen. We can't help but have expectations because that's part of human nature. And once we can put that expectation out there, feel it, welcome it, live with it for a moment, once we've sat with it, let it go. Then take in the rest of the time you have in one of these meetings or the course of the conference to welcome all that comes your way. You will gain something, you will grow in some way, be it coming more open to the greater world beyond your own, or to learn just how many great things can be achieved when we embolden each other's dreams. We put our own dreams out there, we learn to lose our inhibitions. This is who I am, this is what I have to say. This is what I wish to do for the world while I'm still a part of it. We can do great, great things together.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's very inspiring listening to you. Thank you very much, bro, for your
I was very
time.
inspired to be here.
Great, thank you very much. I'm already looking forward for our next meeting, the next gathering.
Thank you for your time. Pleasure.